because that's not helping the people. I'm for the people. You know what I mean? They up here saying, look, man, I'm making $80,000. Okay. They can take it from you anytime. Anytime. So don't brag about it. And it's like, it broke up families and everything else now with us. You know, you got the guy making $20,000, you making $80,000. I said, now listen to this, y'all. You making 20, she making 80. Why don't you take your 20, your 80 and make 100,000? What the hell? You know what I mean? Right. Help each other. Like, this is the family structure right there. Right. So when we argue, the biggest arguments we have is about who's making the much money. I don't care about how much you make.
Yeah, because, I mean, in terms of that, traditionally, women have always been able to make money.
Yeah, but you gotta understand again.
But now, when women make money, it's like...
you gotta understand what they instilled in the women's head. They don't know who they are themselves.
Definitely not.
So what happens if you're being groomed by them? You're being groomed. You don't realize you're being groomed. You ask the average person, do you follow a man? They're going to say no. I'll be like, well, okay. Well, why are you celebrating a New Year's? It's not New Year's. It's not New Year's. Why are you doing this? If you know what I'm saying? You can do many things. Like I said, people say that I'm only doing it because we get together with my family. That's the excuse everybody says. Okay, then do it on another day. I mean, just...
Family do have time off from work on the other day.
No Chinese people take off, bro. I see old ones working.
So, you know, it's challenging people to take initiative.
And this is why they have the structure that they have. They build nations. If you look at the Chinese people, dude, listen, let me tell you how crazy this was. I didn't know what happened. I don't know if y'all was following the news. Like, I watched the international news and stuff. Do you know how much... I forgot how many billions the United States owns China. They owe China a lot of money. They in debt to China right now. So I said, damn, I wonder if they got the buses that they got. You know, I went to Atlantic City, and they had inside, I think it was Trump Plaza, one of them, they had a table laid out there that you can catch the bus back to Philly or New York. In the casino. Because why? They owe China money. This is not a nation. This is a corporation that borrowed money. So I'm looking at China building their nation up. And they saying, look, they get ready to take over everything right now. China is not playing, dude. They run this thing right. And they're using the people as collateral. The people are problem.
Given what most Americans believe, the next statement may be more shocking than any previous. The fact is, the United States is not a country, but a corporation contractually created by the Constitution. Your state is a country, per the law, and your original citizenship is of that country. Our founders instituted themselves to be first and foremost citizens of their respective states. As of 1787, those states already had formed a union, and they created the Constitution for the purpose of perfecting that union in forming a national government. They did not intend that the new nation have any jurisdiction or powers over the states or their citizens that were not specifically enumerated in the Constitution. They stated this point quite clearly in Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17 of the Constitution. They granted the United States exclusive legislation in all cases whatsoever over such district not exceeding 10 miles square as may become the seat of the government of the United States, our District of Columbia, and to exercise authority over all places purchased by the consent of the states. And that is all. The framers further secured the rights of the people with the 9th and 10th Amendments in the Bill of Rights. In the 9th, they established that the enumeration in the Constitution of certain rights shall not be construed to deny or disparage others retained by the people. And in the 10th, they made clear that the powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively, or to the people. The only way the federal government can have any jurisdiction beyond these constitutional clauses is by written permission or contract. Which leads us to another piece of the puzzle, the 14th Amendment to the Constitution, ratified in 1868 following the Civil War. As barbaric as it may sound today, the black slaves, prior to the conclusion of the Civil War, were legally considered to be property, with none of the rights or privileges of free-born people, only duties. The money interests took advantage of America's desire to free the slaves and found a way to use the swiftly adopted post-war constitutional amendments to enslave all of the people. The deceit is in the wording of both the 13th and 14th Amendments. You will note that the 13th Amendment provides that neither slavery nor involuntary servitude shall exist within the United States. But why the emphasis on involuntary servitude? When the slaves were released from their involuntary servitude following the war, their status was changed from that of being property to that of being a person. But being a person still entitled them to none of the rights associated with citizenship. So the 14th Amendment ostensibly was written to provide the former slaves with the same constitutional rights of freeborn American citizens, but only if they agreed first to become subject to the jurisdiction of the corporate United States. Making oneself paramountly, that is, first subject to the jurisdiction of the laws of the United States, however, limits access to parts of the Bill of Rights, as we'll explain in a moment. But first remember, anyone who voluntarily subjects himself to the laws or jurisdiction of another is, in every way, obligated to abide by the terms of any contracts or laws established by whomever establishes the rules of the contract. In simple terms, this meant that the former slaves became subjects first to the United States, and secondly to the state in which they lived. They had no sovereignty whatsoever. This status had never existed in the United States prior to that time. The 14th Amendment created a new class of citizenship in the United States, a second-class citizenship. Up until 1868, every American was a paramount citizen of their state, and by virtue of that, also a citizen of the United States, with full individual sovereignty as guaranteed by Amendments 9 and 10 in the Bill of Rights. But so-called naturalized citizens, or 14th Amendment citizens, are paramountly subject to all laws of the United States, and, having no status as freeborn citizens, have no access at all to the unenumerated rights retained for the people by Articles 9 and 10 of the Bill of Rights. That's because, in order to get any rights at all, they had to subject themselves to the jurisdiction of the corporate United States, which left them no unenumerated rights. The only rights they had were those specifically written into the Constitution. The sad tragedy of America today is that all U.S. citizens, regardless of race, are now 14th Amendment slaves due to contracts with the government of the United States through Social Security, birth certificates, driving licenses, citizenship statements, tax forms, and many other documents. The true paramount citizenship that all Americans deserve is that of their respective state, which is a sovereign citizenship. Such status would exempt them from federal and state income taxes, as well as property.
They threaten your life with a gun, they take your property, and they stop your liberty. Those three things that they violate every day with people. If a short detain, that's an arrest. Not booking, it's an arrest. Study law, it will tell you, if you stop me, it's an arrest. You take me down, it's a booking. Totally different. So now, you're stopping me. When you say that, my cops used to stop me, I said, are you arresting me? You're not under arrest. But I had to remember who I was talking to. I said, yes you are. That's a short detain. And I will quote the section. Then the other cop will be over here, because they two of them walk up, and I'll be like, I would roll my window down, and I would tell the other one that you are conspiring with this one right here to stop me of my liberty, because you are. See what I'm saying? People understand that that's conspiracy. It's conspiracy. You are a part of it. He said, what are you talking about? You stopped me from moving. See what I'm saying? Well, you're drunk. What's the probable cause? They say reasonable suspicion. What was the reasonable suspicion? Then the probable cause, you have to see a crime. What was the crime? See what I'm saying? All these little things, and that will lead into other things. This is how you make people be law-abiding, because the people don't know the law. Why? You have to have a reason for me to stop you.
The crazy one scared the shit out of me. Is this guy a lawyer? No. He's an engineer.
Nick, look at this.